And I muted. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to our 30-second weekly call, hashtag UpRock Prism. I'm your host, Jen McEwen. And joining me on stage are Jesse Adams and Chris.
Hey.
What's up, guys?
Hello, everyone.
Good to see you.
Good morning, good evening, depending on where you are in a moment.
Cheers to everyone around the world.
It looks like a
comment. Cheers, Mike. Cheers. Nice. A beer sounds good. It's a little early for that, but anyway, whatever. Hey, everyone.
Wait, you just said it's too early for a beer? Are you sick, Jesse? I mean, I know I've been sick for the last week. Did you get sick too?
Yeah. No. That's a cure.
It looks kind of gray in Seattle today, guys.
It does. Here, I have a rotating mic now, so you can actually see. It's construction.
I like this. I saw Conan O'Brien to this once. I don't have a drinking. Oh gosh, never mind. I'm too tired. Something about I don't have a drinking problem. I
figured it out. That's what he said. I solved the problem. It's called more.
Anyway, I saw some suggestions in the chat that we might need some new waiting room music. I agree. I don't know how to make any music, so if anyone has suggestions or can point me in the right direction,
hey,
I like something a little more upbeat.
Good to see you. Yeah. Well, I'm starting to get used to it. It's like, when you listen to a podcast and they change the music, you get a little bit angry. Like, what the hell? I
was just thinking about that while we had the music going.
Like my morning routine, hearing that little jingle. You jerk,
Yeah. It's how I know I'm going to spend some time hanging out with you guys for a little bit and not looking at the screen quite so hard for a little while.
Do you guys listen to the All In podcast?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
So the intro song just reminds me of that old ass meme of Batman going na 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 na. Do you know that one? You have to know that one. You guys are old enough. You guys know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So let's just get into this, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sick. I'm inside. I'm inside today. Staying nice and warm.
The winter, for Seattle, we actually get the sun goes down around 4:30, so it throws all of us off. So we're already pretty degen sleep mode where we barely, it's just startup life, like just work all weird hours. But in the winter in Seattle, it's like Alaska up here. It gets dark around 4:30, and it's just very weird. But anyway, let's get going, Jen.
Let's get it going. Okay, so like I said, this is a 30-second weekly call, 32 weeks in a row. Hashtag UpRock Prism. It's a little bit different. You can see on our banner, a little colorful here.
That's 2 to the 5th power for our computer scientist friends.
There you go. Yep. All right. So on our agenda, it's going to be looks pretty light, but we've got a lot to talk about with UpRock Prism. But before we do that, we'll go over some highlights and reminders, a quick product update, and then, I guess Prism is a big product update, and then we'll have some closing remarks. Nothing from DePIN-as this week. We have another teammate who's out sick. So we'll have a update next week from DePIN-as that we can share with everyone then. All right?
Yeah.
Okay, so first up, we've got the IoTeX Get Goated Season 2, the UpRock Quest. You can find that on Galaxy now. Let me put the link up in here. And
nice.
I do that if you guys want to share.
Yep. And a reminder, this is the biggest DePIN campaign ever, and it's been going on for about a month. It's going to go on through January. It's, I think, it's like $2 million in prizes. We have about 200,000 that we put up with the UpRock token. 70,000 is going to a liquidity pool. So we're always looking to beef up our liquidity, deepen those. But we're also having 2 other programs like social quests and also like learn to earn programs and things like that. So the Galaxy is what powers some of the quests. And this is where you can earn some UPT. And also check them. IoTex's this DePIN campaign. They've worked with a lot of cool DePIN projects. So just by going to their X count and just check out the app Galaxy, you'll see other quests there as well. But you're gonna be able to earn their token, our token, and by doing social tasks like sharing with your friends, or just like a learn to earn campaign. So learning about each project you can also earn. So this is awesome for us. they've also partnered with some of the big exchanges. So it's been a really great opportunity for us to be inside and make partnerships with some of those exchanges through this campaign. But check them out. Like it's still ongoing. It's the biggest campaign in DePIN, and it's we have like another month and a half left.
Yeah, this is you guys are so lucky, because Jesse came to us at one of our weekly meetings. He's like, "Hey, we should do this thing with IoTex. They're really interesting and it's really complimentary." And we're like, "Yeah, we should." And then he came back around. He's like, "Oh, okay, it's $200,000," and we're like, "Wait, what? Wait, what? Oh, you're lucky this isn't an in-person meeting, bro." So anyway, you guys get the benefit of all that, and
Nice.
I'll have a chat with Jesse next time I see him.
Yeah, let's get goated.
It's worth it. It's worth it. Really excited about this. We hung out with those guys in Singapore, or some of them, and it was really nice to meet the team, part of the team in person. Anyway, really, check it out. You got another month and a half. Like Jess said, it's probably the biggest DePIN campaign ever, and this is season 2 of Get Goated, so there will be more surely.
Yeah. And if you're not signed up,
oh, go ahead.
If you're not signed up for Galaxy, this is the perfect opportunity to do it, because this is a great offer that's out there in Galaxy right now, but there's a lot of other stuff up there as well, and it's really easy. So you can earn UpRock and you can earn other great tokens there just for doing some stuff.
Yeah, and also, if you're new to crypto, this is a really great way to get just kind of like your bag started, because there's so many really cool projects that are actually building great products and long lasting. So what a great way, if you have a small budget, is to participate in these quests, participate in the airdrops, running nodes, doing the learn to earn programs. You actually can like just as they add up, they actually add up to probably a good amount of money. It's a great way to get started without having to actually buy tokens first. You can just actually generate a pretty good amount of income just participating in these things, and it's a great way to start with crypto if you have a small budget. So I recommend to all my friends, if they're a little risk averse and they don't want to directly buy tokens yet, but I say, hey, if you just want to learn and get some tokens, there's airdrops, there's learn to earn, there's quests, there's a lot of ways to actually earn free tokens out there, and you'll be surprised at how it adds up. And if you're doing it with projects that are serious, those tokens end up over time actually going up too. So that's so highly recommend it.
Yep. Okay, great. Now we've got just a few days ago, Jesse, you did another stream or another spaces.
Yeah.
Again with the IoTex group, and this time you guys were all talking about are memes dead and utility tokens back. Why don't you tell us a bit about this?
Yeah. So I'm curious, people in the chat, how many are actually buying both DePIN and meme coins? I'm guessing the answer is yes. Just the answer is yes. So this is a really fun conversation, because meme coins are taking up a lot of the oxygen in the room, and people look at that and it's fun, and also it's a great way to get your friends and family on board, because meme coins are they tend to be go mainstream quickly first, and it's a great way for us to bring people aboard and then show them about other projects. Both are kind of have similar overlaps in vibe, because also DePIN and memes are about community, but the difference with memes are utilities usually tends to be just entertainment, community building. There is no actual product. The product is just the entertainment and the friendship and the those kind of things, and the gambling too, right? Whereas DePIN, the community building, is you're building something to solve a problem, a real world problem, and that's what's awesome about DePIN, because it's digital and physical world, bridged together in some awesome way. So yeah, that was a really fun conversation, because I love both too. And I think you guys should listen to that. I think both communities can learn from each other. I think some of the quality memes, like we call them blue chip memes or whatever, the ones that are going to survive, because it's so easy to make a new meme coin now. The ones that actually survive over time, they're going to want to figure out ways to. Some of them are figuring out ways to actually create a business out of them. Like Bonk is a good example. And so, but what they're doing, how they scale with community, I think some of the DePIN companies, they're a little dry. They don't know how to do it, a little too corporate-y. They can learn from the meme coins world, and the meme coin world can probably learn from some of because it's the same. You're using a community to build this network in DePIN, but then you also have actual products and revenue that can sustain the company and the token long term. So I think we can learn from each other, and I think we're going to see more of that. And I think the best example of it was the Solana Saga phone. Yes. They were able to sell out a real-world device that's actually become a DePIN device. It's mobile, and they were able to sell out because of the meme airdrops. So they're already kind of blending two worlds together. So I think more experimentation there would be cool. So
Yeah.
anyway, if you like that kind of topic, definitely check it out. It was on X Spaces. We posted it, and IoTeX posted it. That conversation is the recordings on X.
Yeah, that's great. I was saying the Saga phone. That was such a great example. It really is. They did an incredible job, and I think they really just kind of set up the blueprint. Unfortunately, it seems like it's kind of hard for a lot of folks or not a lot of folks, but there's so many meme projects that are not following, or projects that are not following that blueprint.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it's the magic of Saga DAO and Saga Monkey.
Well, they were able to forge a real community around that. Not that it doesn't have its own drama at the moment, if anybody's been in their Discord this week, but it's still, they managed to form a real community around that. And that's what I think. There's some interesting things in the memes for sure, but I think as you said, Jesse, the most successful memes are going to more or less end up pivoting and becoming less memey over time.
Yeah, probably.
So
exactly.
Surely, and I know this is probably for folks listening, and myself included, might be tired of hearing about it, but surely Hawktua came up.
First of all, don't call me Shirley.
Yeah. She had an exciting coin, and she Hawktua that down to 0 almost. Yeah, that came up. That definitely came up. We've heard these stories before. Celebrity coins, they don't really think through it all, and then they fail, and they ruin their brand and all that. But yeah, I think that came up. It's just so easy to go. It's such a gambling world with pump fund that most people get wrecked. And so if you're gonna have a small, like 1%, a small percentage of your fund to go gamble, cool. But really, I think most people who've been in crypto for a long time, most of us make most of our money where you find some conviction plays and like real networks or tokens that are solving a real problem, buy it and almost just forget about it. DCA into it, just buy a little bit every week whenever you get a paycheck. And literally when we made the most money is because we actually just forgot about the token and checked on it like 6 months or a year later, and we're like, wow, this is great. It's awesome.
I either forgot about it, or either we're in a lockup from a pre-buy or something, or like some of the tokens where we've been in a lockup from a pre-buy or something like that. And you see it go up and you're like, man, I wish I could sell because it's like up a little bit, and then you can't because you're in a lockup. And then some months later you come back and you're like, oh, it's up even more, even better. See, I'm so glad.
Exactly.
Jesse,
that's how we made most of our crypto. Like our best success stories were like, we bought and we forgot. And then even the meme ones, I can tell the ones that are actually quality, it's like those are the same story. Like you bought the ones that I know that friends made money on memes. They bought early, it survived. And a year later, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I held on to that thing because it's the community group. It's really similar. The daily stuff is crazy. It's fun. It's gambling. I do a little bit of it myself, but I think it's just a small percentage or you'll get wrecked. It's just, too hard not to fall into that pit. All right. Anyway, check it out if you want. It was a fun conversation.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right. So that's on our x.com/uprock.com. You'll see it there. Definitely give it a listen. It was a great one. And I know I just asked you a question about something I already had heard, but I thought I'll ask you as if I had it. But anyway, it's a great spaces. So go check that out.
Yeah. One of the fun thoughts, like before we launched our UpRock and got funded, some of the meme coins actually did help pay our startup bills. So that's why I have a soft spot for some of the memes because it did pay for some servers and just bills. So anyway.
Yeah. All right, and so now we have next Sol and UPT Sol, the 2x booster, and UPT emissions.
Cool.
So that was a queue up.
What
do we do up here?
Oh, Chris, you're on mute.
Sorry, is that for me? She's like, oh, that's a queue up. I'm like, yep, cool. Somebody should talk about that. Oh, that's me. I'm the somebody. So, for those of you guys who don't know, Stable is a new decentralized liquidity platform similar to Meteor or Orca. They've got some great new stuff there. And so we worked with them to launch I think somebody will probably share the link here in just a moment. We worked with them to launch a Sol to UPT Sol pool here. We know a bunch of you are interested in UPT Sol, and one of the things with the way the stable pool is set up, unlike some of the other pools, if you put your UPT Sol in, you don't actually earn UpRock. The platform provider does. They might not be claiming it properly at all. Sometimes that's just sort of going into limbo land. With this pool on stable, it's actually set up properly so that, or not properly, but it's their technology allows it to actually reward you with the UPT. And we've decided, because we think that's really, really great. We see that potentially some of these liquid staking tokens are really important for projects like ours in the future. And so we really want to encourage somebody like Stable, which actually allows you to not just stake it, but actually still earn rewards while it's staked. So we went ahead and worked with them to boost that. So you're actually going to earn bonus UPT Sol rewards for a while over there if you stake with Stable. And in fact, I think this is actually the biggest pool out there right now. That we've got. I think it's bigger than our second biggest pool, and this happened totally organically, because this is the kind of thing we want to see. When people sometimes ask us about the different kinds of staking and the different parts of the ecosystem, and like how can they be more decentralized? This is a great example of that. This is more decentralized. It's on chain, and because they have the technology now to allow the rewards to work, it all works together seamlessly. So I'm really excited about this, just from a technical perspective, and it's out there. We've been working. If those of you who are more of the bird eye trader types will see that we've been setting up some various liquidity pools. We've been looking. Our strategy has been not just to go with the basic routes, but to look at routes where we're seeing a lot of cross traffic between the different communities. So we'd previously set up a big liquidity pool with the Wen Foundation. We recently set one up with Neon as well, which is another great Solana project. It's Neon's interesting because it's not, strictly speaking, in the DePIN space. I think I would argue it's not, and yet it's still in many ways it's behaving a lot like a DePIN company. I sort of think of them more like a DePIN company when I lump it in together, because they're not really DeFi and they're definitely not a meme or something like that. I mean, so anyway, so we set that up. We set some others up. So just trying to make sure we're now across all the different pools. Not all of them are reported, but across all the different pools, we're getting close to $1 million in on-chain liquidity, and that's kind of the goal we want to push to coming up soon here, to make sure not just that there's plenty of liquidity available, but that if you're coming in or out of UpRock for whatever reason, you don't always have to route over the same pool. That there's plenty of routes that really show the coverage of sort of the clusters of communities where UpRock is being held and used. So we'll continue to we don't have a specific schedule for this, but over the next month or two, we will continue to just take a look at where it makes sense and gradually boost those liquidity pools a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, when we see a strong project that's like a good target for a liquidity pool, actually generate some fees for us, which helps because as we all know, when we generate revenue, we use that to buy back burn UPT. So we have, like, for example, Jupiter is a strong project. We should set up a UPT Jupe pool. We did one with Magic Eden that's actually doing pretty decent because they just launched and they're huge. They have a lot of revenue. That's actually been it's a decent sized pool, but it's actually does a lot of volume already because they're relatively new. But it's just good. It's just good for everyone who's trading with us too, and it's good for us to continue to beef up our liquidity. Yeah.
Yep. And in fact, on the topic of buybacks, as we promised, if anybody has been paying attention, they will see that we started our buybacks from last month's revenue.
Yep.
That's been running on chain. We decided to not go to we had a long talk about how should we do this. Should we do it at one of the centralized exchanges? For sure, they'd love us to be doing big OTC buys with them, but we said no. The right way to do it is for the community on chain. So that's been going on chain. Anybody who's enterprising can go find the buys, and then as soon as I get a chance to chat with Tufan and make sure we have this all set up properly, all the UPT that came in from those buys will be getting burned as per our tokenomics. Right now, it's sitting in our management wallet just to make sure we do this right, but buys are underway. So
it's And they are
roughly $7,500 of buybacks in process.
Yep, they're increasing because our revenue is definitely increasing. So thanks to everybody. Thanks to everyone. Yep, awesome.
Yep.
Burn, baby, burn.
Buy back and burn.
All right, Raz. Buy back and burn.
So we got a really sweet shout out from Ms. Bella T. Lopez. So Bella is she's a content creator and ambassador. Works with, like, for example, things like Jupiter Exchange or projects like Jupiter Exchange. So she does like crypto news and updates. And she shared a really great post on UpRock just on UpRock on Twitter. So that's on our X account, x.com/uprock.com. Big shout out and thanks to Bella for that great article that she wrote and shared. Yep. If you want to go check that out, go to our X. If you want to learn more about her, or if you don't already know about her and you want to learn more, she's on X at Bella T. Lopez. And she's also got her site. Go check out her site. She's got more content on there, bellacryptonow.com. So thank you so much, Bella, for that very thoughtful and well-written thoughtful and a great article.
Yeah, those posts really help. We saw a difference. The day she posted it, people actually, we saw it had a direct impact on people. Like, wow, this is interesting, paying attention. And then we got a couple of large buys into that. Just that exactly when that post went up. So that was awesome. So thanks a lot.
It's like, hey, what's going on here? Oh shit, Ms. Bella. Thank you so much. All right, go check her out. And thank you again, Bella.
Yep, cool.
All right, let's go into some quick product updates. I don't have any slides for this, but I do have something I could just tell you real quick. We've been talking about for a couple of weeks. We have the iOS update, which has the games on there, and it's been held up in Apple App Store review hell.
Yeah.
It's still
there. This process is just. They told me to be good on the call and not to let all the 4-letter words out. But let me tell you, when you work so hard on an app and then anyway.
Yeah. It's
zen.
there.
Just need to be zen.
I've got it on my test flight. I'm playing it a lot. You can see I've got 170.76 points to ready to claim. I'm playing it so I could do it on test flight, but we really want to get it out to you guys. I don't know what's going on. We're going back and forth with the reviewers. Hopefully we could get a resolution out.
Well, here's the actual terms of use. If you guys want all the details here, the actual reason why they're rejecting it right now is this is I'm just quoting this. The primary purpose of the app is to encourage users to perform digital tasks, active tasks in exchange for compensation, like watch ads or perform other marketing-oriented tasks, which is not appropriate. Funny thing about that, so that's it. That's the one-liner they give us. Now, the funny thing about that is almost all games, besides pay-to games like Clash of Clans, they all have offer walls, or they make you do things like share with friends, watch ads to get tokens to play the game. So this is why it's a little confusing. Because
you can't even watch ads in UpRock. That's the part that drives me wild about this.
Yeah.
Like there are no ads to watch in UpRock. It's your wallet. It's your UpRock wallet.
So we scheduled a meeting. We got confirmed for a meeting for next week. So that was a little annoying. It's a little longer than we thought. But there's a couple of ideas we have in the meantime, because we need to convince them, like, hey, no, these offer wall thing, the primary purpose of the UpRock app is actually the wallet, and actually we're running actual tests in the background. They're passive. People don't have to do anything. We're running speed tests and data tasks, and the primary purpose is to be able to do actual wallet interaction. So swappings, staking, things like that. So that's actually the wallet is the main use case. And the other ways, the active tasks, they're optional. People have been asking, hey, can you give us more active tasks to earn more UPT? We said, okay, yes, let's figure out how to make it fun. But they're totally optional. Like, don't have to do that. So we need to convince them that. We also need to show them that with the UI. So we're thinking about before the meeting to make, even on the homepage, just make that even more clear. Maybe like we're thinking to add more stats on about the UpRock network and the wallet. So for example, on the top section, top half page, shows like how many current nodes are live in the network, how many total speed tests and just kind of data transactions we're doing every 24 hours, stuff that you can see like, wow, this is the active community, and this is what the app is actually doing. Like 99% of all transactions, we do 1.2 billion transactions. Majority of those were, wallet-based transactions, just around earning, doing data tasks, etc. And then a very, very tiny percentage, which is obviously on iOS 0 because it's not live yet, is these games. So yeah, so we hope that meeting will go well. We might have to like continually come up with creative ideas. If you guys know anyone in the app world that has ever integrated something like an offer wall or something like this and had the same problem, and I have an idea to how we could design our homepage better, let us know, because we're going to try that. So first step we're going to do is make sure our homepage is very clear, whether it's like the onboarding or just the above the fold, that this is a wallet. That's the main purpose. And then, oh, by the way, we have other cool things you can do if you want. Yeah, and then hopefully this arbitrary review process will get passed, and then we can move on from this nightmare. But anyway, that's it. The bottom line, worst case scenario, we have to just hide this game section for now, so that we can so that it doesn't block other updates, because we do want to we need to get staking out. We have other things we really want to get out, and we'll just have to put those on a different branch and hide them for a little bit. So that's the worst case scenario without having to block our progress. So yeah, that's it. So 17th is our meeting. Probably by next week we'll have a good answer or not, and we'll decide what we need to do next.
And if that doesn't work, if anyone is a spirit medium, I would be interested in hearing from you, because I'm almost convinced that the ghost of Steve Jobs is coming back to haunt us for teasing him so much with our previous venture.
Yeah.
No, this is just this is what people complain about Apple. Is the problem is, whenever there's a new reviewer assigned, they have complete authority and discretion over this. Like, they're supposed to actually cite terms to explain why they're doing this, and they haven't cited anything. They're just they did put a term in there, but what the term actually says is you can't make users have the location permission in exchange for giving them something. We don't even support the location permission. It's not even there. So yeah, they just decide they don't like something, or they don't want to look at it. And you can tell based on how long the responses are that they just copy paste the same thing every time. They're not even looking at what we're sending them. They're just like, no, I don't like it. And then just copy, the response comes in a couple minutes with an identical copy paste of the last one. Like, we know you didn't look at it in that time. So it's just extremely frustrating. Yeah.
So we're going to keep working at it, guys, and try to come up with creative design solutions to get over this hurdle, because we won't give up. But anyway, that's where it's at. So I just wanted to let you guys know.
Yeah. Okay. That's that for the iOS. Chris, do you have something with DATs, or do you have an
we're still working on stuff. This as you guys can probably tell, our whole release schedule for the month has been turned topsy-turvy because we expected this one to go out already. So we're gonna be shipping an Android release here soon, whether or not the iOS one gets approved. That might make things a little bit out of order, but at this point, I mean, we're not even meeting with them till next week, so we can't wait on that anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't have a specific date, but we'll get something rolling here soon.
Yep.
All right. Well, speaking of DATs, which are data tasks, let's move on to the big one this week, which is UpRock Prism, DePIN-as-a-Service platform.
Yep.
So
awesome.
UpRock Prism is. Oh, let me grab this up real quick.
By the way, I love this logo, guys. We've been talking about this idea for a long time, and talking about like what to name it and how it should look and all that kind of stuff. And I just this totally exceeded. You guys were like, "No, trust us, we got this," and I was like, "I don't know," but this totally exceeded my wildest expectations.
Yeah, like a rock and a prism and refracting light.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, like a prism is cool because it takes like one light source and then breaks that light into its constituent colors, red, blue, green, blah, blah, blah. And so it really is a great analogy because we have the kind of stream of data that's coming through, and then we got to break up that data into useful products, into different streams, and different actual useful things. And we have, so I just that analogy is perfect for it. And as far as how we're going to talk about it, obviously when we talk about Prism, we're talking about how you bring clarity to data, because it's just raw data that's coming through with all these millions of devices, and we need to make it actually useful and do something with them. So yeah, I think it helps us. It's kind of a fun, inspiring thing. It's going to make it like, if you think about that, it's also going to make some of the memes, the marketing videos, all those things will just be helps to have some metaphor when you want to explain.
Well, it helps. Yeah. But by the way, for those who think we're just going to show the logo, there's a full reveal after this as well. But the other thing it helps with it, the big discussion we had is, we have UpRock, which is what all of you are used to using, which is the earning app and what powers all of this. But we also, when somebody's talking about, hey, I used UpRock to complete this data task, we want it to be really easy for them to say, I used Prism. Okay. So if they make a YouTube video or write a blog post about how they completed this task, they can say UpRock Prism, and everybody knows what that is. But we love the UpRock brand, and we love all the community that we've built here. And so we didn't want to do this on a totally different name. So I think it works out really well for all those reasons.
Yeah. So we were hoping to actually to give like a live demo today. We still need to test it a little bit, and this is a big product. But we're going to show some reveal here of what December is going to be focused on, and what you're going to actually see coming live pretty soon. So it's going to actually be at prism.uprock.com. Right now, if you go to it, it won't load because we still need to test a couple things. But that's where it's going to be. It'll be a subdomain of UpRock, and it's going to be linked from the main page. And then we're going to update the website as well, so people can see that we have two sides of this UpRock platform. We have the consumer app, the DePIN network, human-powered data, free flow data network that's powering this DePIN-as-a-Service platform. And so that's what I'm really excited about to show. It's been a long work in progress, and we couldn't have done it without you guys. This is a community-powered DePIN-as-a-Service platform, right? So.
Yep. And before we get into it, I just want to share again our UpRock tokenomics, so you can see how B2B and B2C plays in our tokenomics. So go check that out. It's uprock.com/tokenomics.
Oh, right. Yep. Good idea.
Right?
Good point.
So you can see how B2B, or how a DePIN-as-a-Service platform works into our plans. All right. So let's do a bit of a reveal. So we've got real-time web scraping at scale.
Yep.
Here we go.
Yep. So we're going to start focus on 3 products. So real-time web scraping at scale. We'll have Uptime monitoring, which also powers status pages, and the third is distributed mobile compute jobs. So those are going to be the 3 main tasks, or 3 main products really, that Prism is going to offer. So the first one is real-time web scraping at scale. This is what we've been talking about for a long time, and why the DePIN way is more powerful. In the Web 2 world, in order for you to have real-time web scraping at scale, it's very costly. What you're really doing is you're buying a bunch of proxies as a company. Or if yourself, you're just buying installs all day long. You have to encourage people to keep those app installed. So it just costs a lot of money, and it takes, most of these Web 2 proxies took many years to actually build up to millions of mobile installs. The DePIN way, the crypto way, we're able to get over 2 million installs within under a year. This is amazing. Also, because everyone's incentivized with tokens to keep the network alive, and everyone has skin in the game to make sure the network is successful, we actually have better uptime, better coverage, better, just more granular data. This is the power of the DePIN network as well. This means that companies around the world, if they want to be able to really scrape the internet at scale and across different sites, etc., the DePIN way is going to be more useful, because we can actually say, hey, we can just fulfill market demand better, because we can actually talk to our community and say, we have a lot of customers that are looking for just scraping data from these geolocations. We're kind of light there. We'll pay out more tokens there. This is why you can get real-time feedback and deliver this product better. So, Chris, you wanted to talk about this a little bit more too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is really, one of the the key core things we've been building on here, and we've been building out the different parts for this and so on and so forth. And, I still believe anyway, that in the long run, I'd love to have a lot of the usages of the UpRock platform be done like totally automatically through APIs and not necessarily for through this portal. But the reality is, people need to see how it works, and people need to have an easy entryway. And so this is what we're building. Build it simple, make it easy. Progressively add more features to it, of course. But I think really the core, and for those of you who are programmers, maybe, or stop and think about it for a little bit, you'll realize that web scraping and uptime monitoring are really just two sides of the same coin. One of them is loading pages because you want to load the data, and one of them is loading pages for the side effect of finding out if they load or not. But it's still really at some very fundamental level the same thing. It's just two really different presentations of that information. So this is what we've been working really hard on. And just we go back and forth on this, you and I, about like how the best way to present this is, because my view as somebody who's very comfortable with code is like, if people want to use it, just make them write some code and it's super easy. And your view is no. And I understand this as well. A lot of people sometimes, even if you can code, sometimes you just want a really simple, like, go in and click a few buttons and then have it, have the ability to just push the button and have it go, or to copy some example code that you can then use and modify further. Now, to be clear, for those of you who are looking at this, we're gonna launch it with the APIs and the buttons first, and then after that, we'll spend a little work on having this, code writer thing that actually shows you the sample code. That might or might not make it completely into the first version, but we'll definitely have, working on getting all the scraping and the uptime monitoring in there with some nice simple UIs and APIs.
Yeah, and we need to just get this out. Like, I think we have some customers that will prefer the API and be a little more tech savvy. I think a large amount of customers just want a self-service portal and do that. But we want people to build on top of UpRock. So APIs enable people to build on top of the network. So that's the two different strategies. I think showing a portal, people can go in self-service, see it works. That's powerful. Add your credit card billing, just start using it. Great. But APIs for folks to be able to build and do custom things. The portal, I think over time, I think where the puck is going for the portal is that it will eventually just be no code. You're going to be able to just say, hey, I want to scrape Amazon for this product. And you'll just create this custom, your request builder. Well, you won't have to actually fill out a form. You'll just talk to it like a person, and you'll create your request. And I think it's going to basically go there very, very soon. And so we think about that a lot. But before you automate things, you should always just make sure it works first. Don't automate something that doesn't work first. So first step, just make sure it works, get it into people's hands. Then when it's good, then we know, get the feedback, see what's painful. Then you optimize later. So that's the first step. We want to just show you the power. We want to also show you that when you sent this request, it didn't just go to a bunch of servers. Like, it actually got sent out to people, and they actually earned tokens for delivering this job. And so that makes it a little more complicated, but this is also the power of DePIN. But we want to show that. So, because that's going to tie into, as you guys know, we're building this live dashboard at uprock.com/network. It's going to be a great sales tool for us for the network. And so this will tie to that. So we want to be able to say, go in, try it out, upload your credit card. We're going to support crypto native payments. So if you want to upload your own token, for example, you should be able to send out your own token to our network so people can earn your token as well as ours. And then we want to distribute that. And then on our dashboard, we want to actually show you that, hey, when someone actually pays for this web scraping, on the network dashboard side, you can see the data requests coming through, and you can see people actually earning UPT. That is the loop that we want to show that we can that I think very, very powerful as like a real world use case of DePIN in the making that's generating revenue. And then the network side will show you that revenue is buying back and burning UPT, which we've already started we already started the DCAs every day. So, yep. You're muted. Oh,
sorry. All right, next part, and then the other core is uptime and performance monitoring. monitoring. So things like solving problems like limited monitoring capabilities. We want to address things like complex setup and like with the things that we just talked about before, as far as like interacting with it or using it. So here's another preview.
Yeah. So as Chris said, they're very two sides of the same coin. With uptime monitoring, though, there's a couple additional things you want. So you want to make sure, is your network or server or website RPC node, are they up or down? And so you're still crawling the internet, like Chris said. But then beyond that, you want other things now, right? Because now you need alerts. So you need to be able to sign up for alerts. And so that's another thing you have to build as far as like, do you want email, SMS, who's going to get them, which member of the team is going to get these things when things go down, those kind of stuff. So you need alerts, and then you also need reports, because you want to be able to share share the performance of your website with your team or yourself, and you want that report to be as technical or granular as possible, so you can actually take action, do something about it. So if you want, and why it's going to be powerful with the DePIN network, a lot of these uptime, like a Web 2 uptime monitoring services, they usually just rotate data centers when they send out these when they 5-10 minutes upload your site. Reason why they do that, because it is, again, the previous way of running a large distributed mobile real device network was so costly and expensive, and no one really wants to do it. And so they might go out and pay for proxies, but again, super expensive. And they don't want to do this internally. So they usually say, you know what, screw it. Let's just rotate some of these requests through some data centers, like 10 or 20 around the world. And that's good enough. In our case, we can actually provide you an uptime monitoring service and say, like, especially in the Web3 space, hey, my RPC server or our network is actually up in 190 countries. We can actually show that. And those companies can actually show that to their customers too. And this is way more powerful because of the crypto, and only enabled with crypto and DePIN than the previous way.
Well, really. And I'm sure, I'm sure you've been in that situation where, even a company you like, you're using their mobile app or you're using their website and something goes wrong, and you're sort of like, oh, man, I wish they had better monitoring or something like that, because I like this and I want it to work. And so this is, Jesse, you said like, oh, we should get crypto companies in this, but also I think we both know this is super powerful. Where this is a really great entry point to Web 2. And this is something that's really important for the UpRock community. So right now, today already, we're making a pretty non-trivial amount of revenue from Web 2 companies, but it's likely that, the Web 2 use cases are going to be somewhat uncorrelated with the crypto cycle. And so if we get into a crypto bear cycle, but we can have good Web 2 revenue coming in, that means, that the sources of the revenue for the buyback and burn are going to be hopefully coming from many different market segments, not just the crypto space, meaning that we're well diversified in that regard. So that's why I think the uptime monitoring is just a really solid feature. There's a real demand for it. It's a perfect match for DePIN and for the UpRock network. So I'm super thrilled by this.
And obviously, because we're in the crypto space, since we're a crypto native here, one of the difference, we're going to be able to close some of the deals with the status page pretty quickly, because a lot of companies in the Web3 space are using Web 2 status pages. Again, they're not as granular as far as like letting you know our RPC is up or down in specific geolocations. We're going to be able to provide that because it's going to be powered by DePIN. So the status pages, I think what we're we'll have pretty much when we first launch, it's going to be free. We want people to just power their status page by UpRock, and that's going to be great too. And then second, if you want to be able to upgrade to more advanced features, we'll support crypto. So let's say I don't know, the Jupiter network or Helios or even Solana, if they have a status page powered by UpRock, that status page, when they pay UpRock to power that status page for the more advanced features, they could pay us in their token. That's actually possible. So what's cool about that is that you can actually show on that status page that whether it's a Solana or Jupiter, let's just use Jupiter for example. Since Jupiter had a status page powered by UpRock, you can actually go to that page. First, you can see, wow, yeah, the Jupiter network's up. is more granular. You can see it's up in all these different countries, has all the stuff you need to see. And then second, you can see that this status page is being powered by the community, and people are actually earning Jupiter tokens just to power the status page. That's actually really cool too, because you can see, you'll be able to show that. So not only is the DePIN ways like providing a better dashboard, but also you can pay for it with crypto, and we can display that where the people are actually earning UpRock tokens and Jupiter tokens to power the status page. So that is really cool. I think that's going to get really good adoption for us. And yeah, so that's why I'm really excited about it. I think the Uptime, we have separate teams working on these things. There's the core infrastructure in the back end. The scraping powers both of them. But kind of the UI, we have very focused teams on each. Probably the Uptime will be we're very close on that. Might go first, then the scraping, but or maybe the same. But we just need to test a few more things. The goal is to have the MVP for these before Christmas. That's the goal. Yeah. So
it'll be a busy couple of weeks. All right, now let's talk about the third one. Let's talk about the third one. Okay, so let's say you're a SaaS company and you want to perform things like a load test on a new feature before you deploy to make sure that it can handle the peak traffic. Okay, so what are the issues you're going to come across? Probably resource constraints, complex infrastructure, scalability issues. Well, that's what this addresses. So distributed custom compute jobs.
Yep. So this one, so that's actually that's wrong.
Oh, wrong one. Sorry.
Okay. It doesn't matter. Distributed custom compute jobs. This one actually is pretty lucrative for us because it requires quite a lot of manual work. It is like the DATS project. It's going to be the first one that we're going to launch. We're going to probably we already have a few in the works. We don't want to talk about until they're further along, but DATS is the best one because there's actually going to be it's really serious revenue, and that is a good example of it. But that's just what this page is going to be. It's very manual work, so it's going to be case by case basis. But we want to do this because we need to figure out if the idea is like, hey, if you had access to over 2 million unique devices worldwide, what could you do with it? Well, when we talk to companies like that, they're telling us, here's what we'd love to be able to do. And so each one is going to have different needs. And as we do that, we'll get better at figuring out how can we make this more accessible to every other company. And so, we can come up with this grand idea of make this like, we're going to make this huge network, everyone build on it. But really, we cannot design the right APIs and how do people access the network unless we actually just deploy a few.
With this, just so people know, this isn't going to be arbitrary compute that anybody can just like sign up to the site, sign in and start distributing compute out to all the network. Obviously, that run comes with huge risks and downsides and stuff like that. This is going to be starting for now with customizable, where people come to us and have a clear use case, and it's a little bit more complicated than just being able to do web page loading. So there has to be some logic on the devices, or there should be some logic on the devices. But really my long-term goal with this, where I want to get this eventually, is to actually make it possible to design these jobs fully in WebAssembly, because once we do that, then it will be much easier and safer to sandbox it. So I don't think we're ever going to be at a point where somebody can sign up and literally upload a compute job with no oversight, but I would love to make it a lot easier for eventually for people to come to submit their compute job as WebAssembly so that we can review it, and then if it's acceptable, install it on the relevant subset of devices so that it's then available to call and to share with others, and so on and so forth. So I think, this is, I love the Prism. I love the design that you guys have come up with.
Maybe break that down just a little bit for people who might not be familiar with that term means. I don't know if you can come up with a good analogy or. Okay,
yeah, that's a fair point. Thank you. So for those who aren't familiar, WebAssembly is sort of a recently over the last few years, but it's really sort of gotten traction within the next year or two. And the idea is that it's a really low level machine language, like an assembly language, like when people talk about machine code, or the actual code that the machines run, not that programmers write. But WebAssembly is designed to be portable, so it's not unlike say for instance, your phone software won't run on your your laptop, because they're different systems potentially with a different kind of CPU and all that kind of stuff. With WebAssembly, the goal is that it's a generic and portable syntax, and that there are runtimes for it. There are sandboxes that are actually secure, that we can actually set real sort of perimeters around. Okay, it can't access any of your local files. It can't access the local network, only the wide area network, and so on. And so but the huge advantage of WebAssembly, what we've seen with a lot of distributed runtime jobs in the Web 2 space here, is they'll have their own sort of unique programming environment and their own unique twists and turns on programming them. And so what happens is it becomes really difficult to get a lot of software that runs on them, because you have to have somebody who reads their documentation, understands how it works, and manually ports the software over to that runtime. With WebAssembly, there are compilers that work with a number of common programming languages already. So Rust and Go and C and JavaScript and many others, as far as I know, can all be compiled to WebAssembly. And so what that means is it's a great intermediate layer. It allows all the machines to speak one common language without having to worry about the differences between specific CPUs and so on. And it allows programmers to come and meet us by writing in the language that they want to then be compiled down to this WebAssembly. The other thing that's nice about WebAssembly is because it is an assembly language, it's easier to do certain kinds of security reviews in it, because it's just a little bit less abstract than some of the other languages. So it's easier to do static processing on it and look at what it might be doing and so on. So anyway, it's that's sort of the long-term goal with the distributed compute jobs. But for now, they're customized.
Yep.
And Laurent, to answer your question, I've got a bit of a cold going on here, so I'm inside. The cigar is going to have to wait till next week, I guess.
'Tis the season for sneezing. Oh, I just did. Yeah, great. I got my own sickness delirium going on. All right. Well, okay, that's it that we've got for sneak peeks for Prism.
Yeah.
A lot of really big stuff happening. We were a little stressed about this week because we're like, oh, we don't have anything to like share that has been actually shipped into production just yet, but there's a lot of work happening. And hopefully next week we can say that about the iPhone iOS app.
Yeah.
But by the end of this year, we'll have something for you to tinker around with on Prism.
Yeah.
So there's a lot
the other thing is we shipped a big buyback, right? We said last week that we were going to do it, and we did it.
That's true.
I'm really pleased about that as well.
That's true. I'm sorry. I should have. I should not forget something that is important. I was thinking more like product.
We have, I think, 14 now. By the way, we have about 14 people. Some are part time. A few are part time. And but I think it's a pretty good, pretty good size. I think eventually maybe 2025 is what we'll need. But in the world of AI, 2025 is like you can be a pretty killer army. I think so. So we'll see how it goes. But we've always been kind of lean and mean. We've always been that is just in our DNA to be very lean and mean startup. And you can even in the past startup, we built an entire browser with just a small handful of people that can rival a browser like Chrome. So it's just so I think, but that's where we're at. So it is a lot of work, but we're excited about it. And I think how we kind of focus is we have small teams that lead a couple things, and we work well together. And we've always been online since for years, so we know how to be a distributed team. So. And that can be hard for new people who just formed together, but we've been on our first rodeo, so we can take it on.
Yeah,
man, Chris, people are so bummed out about your cigar, man.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Jesus, that's next time. I'm gonna go.
That's funny.
I'm gonna go pass out under the desk for a little bit, but I'll be good by next week.
I personally have a clown face. If I don't constantly smile, you know how clowns don't. If they don't smile, they look sad.
Yeah.
I get that question asked all the time. I either look sad or I look like I'm always high because my eyes just like this, So I have to constantly smile and be like, no, I'm good, man. It's all good.
Yeah, Laurent says that you look a bit tired, Jess. You don't have the benefit, or you could if you just leaned into it, of bronzer like I do. I can lend you some.
Yeah.
It works wonders, a little bit of face paint.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it, guys. But before we go, I want to wish a happy birthday to one of our teammates and a good friend of ours who's been with us for a long time. Gabor's got his birthday today. And I also saw on the chat Irish's birthday, too. So happy birthday to the two of you.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
happy birthday, everybody.
Great to see you guys here. And I hope you both enjoy your day. I hope everybody enjoys their day.
Happy birthday, guys.
Yeah.
We are going to...
As always, thank you for spending your time with us. We appreciate it a lot.
Yep, definitely. All right, we're going to get back to work, and Jesse's going to take a quick nap.
Yeah, no, I'm going to get back to work.
He's going to get back to work. All right, guys, we'll see you next week.
All right, see you, everyone. Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.